Everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Lisa and I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to make tomatillo stew. I love tomatillo stew. And what is tomatillo stew? Well, it's tomatillos, Anaheim peppers. I'm going to throw in some poblano peppers, and all of these get roasted and then they go into the blender and I mix them all together, pour them in the pan. I add in some pork loin that I cooked last night in the crock pot, and that's your tomatillo stew. You can serve it over rice, you can drain the juice off and have it in a tortilla, you can have it with chips. It's really good and one of my favorites. And it actually is cold again here. Well, I say cold, it's cool. It's like in the high 60s. So this is going to be our nice, warm, cool night meal. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by going out to the garden and picking the poblano peppers. We'll come in and then we'll get everything ready to wash, dry, and roast. Follow me to the garden. Okay guys, we are in my garden and these are my poblano peppers. And this is the last of the garden. So I've gotten all the peppers off the plants and the plants are pretty much done. What I'll do is I'll come out one day, pull the plants up and mix some nutrients into the soil, and we will just have it sit all winter. Then come planting season next spring sometime, it will be ready to go. Okay, so it looks like I got all the peppers off, and I don't know if you can see. There's our little pepper harvest right there. These will all go in the tomatillo stew. So now that we've got the rest of our peppers, let's go back inside. Okay guys, we're back inside with our peppers that we just picked, all of our poblanos. They're small, but I'm pretty sure they're going to pack a great punch, especially in this stew. So what I'm going to do is break off the stems. Then I'm going to put all of these. I have a colander in my sink, so I'm going to throw all these peppers in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the big Anaheim peppers as well. Just pull the stems off and throw them in. And if the stems don't want to come off, I'm just going to cut them off. So my colander is full of peppers. I'm going to put tortillas over this way, lay out a kitchen drying towel, and wash my peppers. And I'm using warm water to wash them. When you wash them for dirt, you don't want grit in your stew. And just germs, people handling them, because I had my groceries delivered, and so when these were picked, somebody else picked them. So I actually pre-washed them before I put them in my refrigerator because they were picked by somebody else. And then I just put them back in their bag. After they dried, I put them back in their bag, and so they were clean, but I always like to give them a second rinse beforehand. Now these I'm going to let just sit here and dry for a few minutes, and we're going to get to our tomatillo. A tomatillo is in the tomato family, but it comes in a husk like this. And all you do is you peel the husk off, and it peels off, and it comes like a little stem, and you twist, and it comes off. But the tomatillos are sticky in the husk. Whoops. So they definitely need to be washed before you get ready to roast them. So you just peel the husk back and throw the tortilla in. Most of the time it's really easy to do. Sometimes the husk can be a little problematic, but you know, you just kind of go with it. So I'm going to get these all peeled and we'll be right back. Oh, by the way, I got a lot of tomatillos. Normally you can find big ones, but for some reason I got 2 bags of little ones, like tiny. So I got 2 bags full, so I have a lot of tomatillos because they're small. If you can get bigger ones, I would suggest getting bigger ones. It just cuts down on this step in the process. that's one bag of tomatillos down, one to go. I'm going to leave the pork in the crock pot in its own juice on warm while I roast the tomatillos and the peppers, because I want that meat to soak up some of the seasoning and flavor that is in the liquid it's in now. And I season the pork with cumin, salt and pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder, and that's it. And it cooked, simmered overnight in a mixture of chicken broth and water. I toned the chicken broth down just a little bit because I didn't want it to be overpowering, yet I wanted that hint of flavor. Now you could do this with, chicken, pork, or you could do it without any meat at all, if you so wish. And if you have a recipe for tomatillo stew, I would love to see it, so please share it down in the comments. And maybe next time I make it, I will feature your recipe. My hands are so sticky from the... Now, obviously, I did not wash these beforehand like I did the peppers when I put them up, because they were in husk. So I felt like you can't wash the husk, and I didn't want to peel them because the husk protects them so they're ready to be eaten. And this is a big bowl full, which is good. You want a lot because this is basically the base to the stew. I probably even could have used more, but we'll go with this. You want them dry because when you want the oil, when you put the oil on them, you want it to stay, and if there's water, oil and water don't mix, and the water kind of repels the oil and it just slides off. And I want these to get roasted. Now I could do it because I have a gas stove. I could actually hold these over the flame of a burner and roast them that way, but honestly, I'm not that coordinated and I would hate to catch myself on fire. Or my house. So, we're going to do it the oven way. It takes longer, but it's safer for me, and that's, you know, cooking is supposed to be a pleasant experience. Okay, these are good and dry. I have one pan for the tomatillos, and I'm just going to put them on. I'm going to turn them upside down so they don't roll around. That way I don't lose any, and I can get them spaced pretty good. Because you want the heat to be able to circulate around all of them. So you want to space them out. Kind of like when you bake cookies. Normally you don't just stack them up next to each other, because they would stick together. This is the same way, only you just want the heat to be able to get all the way around them. So if you have so many that you end up needing to do 2 pans, you know, do 2 pans. It's like French fries. When you bake French fries in the oven, you need to make sure the pan's big enough and they're not all clumped together. Because if the fries are all clumped together, it's, you know, they don't get cooked. They don't get crunchy. They stay soft and floppy. And floppy fries, not my thing. Now, if floppy fries are your thing, that's perfectly cool. Because, you know, we're all different and we all like different things. So you see how I have these spaced out enough that there's a little room between all of them. And I'll bring you in for a closer shot before I put them in. But let me get another pan. I ordered some new pans that are non-stick. Maybe use less foil because I hate using stuff that goes in a landfill or recycling or whatever. It's just better to not have that step. So I'm trying to get better pans so I can, you know, eliminate some waste in my kitchen. Okay, so those are all on there. I'm going to bring you in for a closer look, and then I will put the oil on and we'll get them in the oven baking. So there you can see how I have them spaced. Enough that the heat will get all around them. There's room all the way around each one. And then the peppers, again, they have room around all of them as well for heat circulation. Now I'm going to use some olive oil and just drizzle it over. You want to make sure the oil is on your pepper so it will roast. Oops. Now don't put salt on them at this point because the salt will dry the moisture out. And you want the meat still. You want to have, you know, meat. because you want the body, so you don't want to dry them out. So don't salt anything because it pulls the moisture out. Now if you want to coat them solid, you are welcome to. I don't really find a need as long as they get some oil on them. You can just pick them up and make sure each one is coated, kind of like a cookie dough ball in sugar before you bake it. So, alright, there we go. Now I'm going to throw these in the oven and check them in about 20 minutes. Let's get these in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in for a look at the pork in the crock pot. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to shred it. And then we'll just wait. So there's our pork in our crock pot, and I'm going to shred it, and then we will have shredded pork. After it's cooked all night like this, it's super simple. It basically just explodes into pieces when I stick the forks in. If you're a vegetarian, you certainly can make it without any meat at all, which is the way I would prefer it, but I have two carnivores here, so we do meat. Okay guys, we're going to wait until the tomatillos and peppers are roasted, and we'll be back then. So I'll see you soon. Okay guys, we're back. I hear them sizzling, so I'm going to pull them out and check them. I might actually need to switch them around too. So the tomatillos look really good, but they're roasted on the bottom because they're on the bottom shelf. So what I'm going to do is get some tongs and flip them over. The tops are all roasted. I'm just flipping them over, and then I'm going to check my peppers. Okay. These are all turned over. They're really roasted on the top. I'm going to bring them over so you can see the top. See how roasted they are? So now I'm going to put them back in the bottom for a little bit longer. Now our peppers are doing really good, so I'm just going to kind of move them around a little bit. I'm kind of switching them around because some are a little more roasted than others. Okay, see how this is puffed up and pulled away from the pepper? That's the skin I'm talking about, and that's what I will be peeling in just a bit. And you can see it on this one too. See how it's weird and kind of wrinkled? That's what I'll be pulling off. So these are going to go back in for just a few minutes, and then we'll come back and get them out. I forgot to tell you, I had the oven set on 350 when I put them in, but it wasn't, after 5 minutes, it really wasn't having that effect I wanted on them, so I cranked the oven up to 425, and it's perfect. So I'm going to set the timer for like 3 minutes. And it'll be time to pull them all out, let them cool, and then we'll come back and I can peel them. See you soon. Okay guys, we're back. It's only been 2 minutes, but these things are done. So I'm going to pull them out. And that's it. Now, I'm not sure how long it'll take them to cool. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes, sometimes a little longer. So I will be back when all of these are cooled off and I can touch them and peel them. So stay tuned. Hey guys, we're back, and the tomatillos and all the peppers have cooled. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel that skin off, that film, and I'm going to throw them in my blender. And I'm just going to throw these in. So these are all my roasted tomatillos and peppers in my blender. You use peppers, don't rub your eyes or your nose or, you know, other parts of your body. That would not be good. Here's the base for our tomatillo stew. And this is our tomatillos and our peppers all mixed together. So what I'm going to do is set that right there and get my pan that we're going to cook this all in. And I'm using a big stock pot, non-stick. Okay, got my pan on the stove. I'm going to pour in my tomatillos and pepper mixture. And we want to make sure we get it all out. So I'm going to get a spoon. All of that goodness is in the stock pot. Now I'm going to transfer over my pork. Okay, that's all the pork from the crock pot is now in the stock pot with our tomatillo pepper mixture. I'm going to add some chicken stock to this, get it all stirred up, and just let it cook on low for the rest of the day. That way the pork will absorb all those great flavors. So hold on just a second. So I've got my chicken broth and I'm just going to pour it in. So what I did is I added just a little over half of my chicken broth. Everything's all covered now. I'm going to stir in just a little bit more garlic powder and onion powder and just a little bit just to add to the flavor, because remember our pork was seasoned when we cooked it. Our tomatillos and our peppers were roasted, which amplifies their flavor tremendously. So you don't need a lot of extra seasoning besides what we've already done. Just a little bit to kind of tie it all together. Okay, so I just added all the seasonings in my pot. I'm giving it a stir, and I'm going to put it on medium till it comes to a boil, and then I'll turn it down to low and let it simmer all day. And I will share a picture with you. Well, we'll come back to tomatillo stew later. Thanks for being here while I got everything ready, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully. I'm hungry. Okay guys, well this is our finished product. This is our tomatillo pork stew, and it just looks delicious. So don't mind me, but I'm gonna start eating. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.